We are live on.
Yes. Come on, where are you? There you are. Oops. Wait a second. I'm so grateful for editing.
That's for sure. The magic of editing.
Definitely. Okay. Let's try this one more time. Okay. We are live and we are recording. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another wonderful episode of the Health, Wisdom, and Wealth Show. I'm Velan Hawkins, your host, and today we are talking about a subject that not everybody actually talks about: kindness. And we're going to be in the topic of the profit of kindness, being kind and creating wealth with Jill Lublin. Jill, I'm so excited to have you here, and I know that our audience is just going to love what we're going to be in conversation about. And to you out there in TV land, if you ever wanted to know the truth about some things, it gets spoken here on the Health, Wisdom, and Wealth Show. So pull up a chair, get your notepad and pen, cup of tea, glass of water, whatever, and participate in the conversation with us. Comment below this video and let us know what you're thinking, if you're on point with what we're on point with. And let me take a few minutes to introduce you to our guest, Jill Lublin. She's CEO of Jill Lublin Incorporated. She's a multiple best-selling author. Two of her books are, number one, The Profit of Kindness, which we're going to be in the subject of today, and Guerrilla Publicity, and more. You can see them on the shelf behind her. I just love that about her. She is so intent upon not just getting her message out, but to speaking to those to whom she can be of service and help. She's a publicity strategist extraordinaire and has helped countless hundreds, thousands of people to really be in the place that we try to help them to go as well, in that visibility and impact space. So without further ado, I'm going to say hi, Jill. Welcome to the show.
Hey, it's wonderful to be here with you.
Awesome. I'm so excited to be here because you have got an amazing story. And you probably have heard some amazing stories from people that you've helped to step into this space of public visibility that we call publicity. So tell us a little more about you, your journey, and how it is that you're focusing on this publicity marketing stuff now.
Absolutely. So, like everyone, I found my path a little circuitously, I think is how you pronounce it, up, down, all around. I actually was sharing with you before the show that I went to law school. I thought I wanted to be an attorney. I was, thinking that would be a great way to help people. And then I got to law school. And for me, who's a highly creative mind, which is great for publicity and marketing, it's not so good for law school. And it just was not my place. And so I dropped out, much to my family's chagrin, and ended up being an entrepreneur. I told my dad, I said, I'm going to be an entrepreneur. He said, what is it? And how do you spell it? Well, I'm still figuring out what it is, but I do know how to spell it. And from there, I actually found my path, which is in publicity and marketing. I was in the music business for close to 5 years. Loved that as director of promotion and publicity at independent record labels. And then from there, I actually had a PR agency for many years and now do consulting and virtual publicity courses to make, frankly, publicity very affordable for the average wonderful entrepreneur and or not so average entrepreneur. And that's been my thing is keeping publicity affordable and doable. And then when Profit of Kindness came out, God planted a new seed in my heart, additionally to run kindness circles, which I'm also now doing. So I've got a wonderful intentional kindness community and doing virtual publicity courses and speaking and training now virtually all over the world.
Oh, that's amazing, really. And I've known you probably for, I'm going to say if it was 2010, that's going to be 11 years now.
Wow.
And while we didn't actually meet until recently, our paths crossed, and I have always been intrigued in and looked to you as the expert in this field. So you've been here for a long time, and for that, there are many of us entrepreneurs who are grateful for that. So
hang in there.
Yes, yes. So what is it, Jill, that makes publicity the thing one would call high impact marketing?
So listen, here's the reality about publicity. It equals influence. It equals impact. So, most people I talk to want to have that high yield impact, right? That profitability that comes from publicity, which is free, by the way. Publicity is free, and it directs people toward you. So it creates prospects and profits, and that is a beautiful thing.
It really is. And for our community of healthpreneurs and those who are looking to healthpreneurs about how it is that they might be able to improve their lives, sustain a healthy lifestyle, it really does take this aspect of visibility and publicity for those who are looking for us to be able to find us, and for those who want to do more and have a bigger impact in the world. It's important to be found. And so, when we talk about kindness, in your opinion, what are a few of the biggest challenges or pitfalls that people have? And especially, not thinking about people necessarily in ill health, but people who know that health is like a major factor in our lives, right? You have to have a healthy life in order to have a healthy business, and a healthy business becomes a healthier business when you're healthy. How does kindness play into that, and the challenges that we might face as we're looking to be more kind through our businesses?
So here's what I found. Interestingly enough, in writing The Profit of Kindness, no surprise, but every interview that I did with companies, small and large, so this was solo entrepreneurs and people in the coaching business, people in the health business. Here's what we consistently found. Anyone related to and connected to kindness, meaning you kept it in your business, you have it as a sustaining foundational principle, that they were happier, they were more profitable, they attracted more customers, and the people around them were happier, their team, whoever worked with them,
employees,
and in relationship, they were happier. So as far as I'm concerned, that's good enough reason to be kind.
Oh, it is. It is. And, I'm going to take this two places because, again, we've got those healthpreneurs who are in the entrepreneurial space, and we've also got those who are employees who are part of these companies and organizations that, they are either high contributors to, or in my opinion, most people want to be high contributors to their organizations. And I know that we're moving through a time and space in global business where the leadership paradigm is changing. And Stephen M.R. Covey talked about, leadership 4.0 being one of command and control. And we have shifted, like the shift with coming into the age of Aquarius, to a more caring environment, global environment, where the leadership model, the 5.0 leadership model, is becoming trust and inspire. And I know that that in itself breeds kindness, or kindness, in fact, breeds it. What's your take on what you might see as the shift from leadership 4.0 to leadership 5.0, and how can we bring more kindness in as we're moving forward?
Well, I think, first of all, whatever number you're at, you're going to be a high number if you practice it with kindness, right? 4 to 5, 5 to 10, right? I'm just looking at how do I be the best? Abraham Lincoln said, whatever you are, be a good one. And, like, how timeless is that, right? So whatever number we're going to, I think it's a beautiful thing to strive for more leadership. And leadership is different in today's times. It is more about authenticity, vulnerability. It is about flexibility and patience. It is about compassion and generosity, all, by the way, of which are, I call them return on kindness principles, right? Because everybody wants ROI. Leadership wants ROI, as you should be. You run a company, you want to be profitable. Interestingly enough, when you practice return on kindness principles, profitability increases, productivity increases, cultures of kindness get formed and then replicate and, shall we say, spread. And that's the kind of thing we want to spread in the world. Much more kindness. We all need it. I think these times have shown us that more than ever.
Yes, they have. They undoubtedly will show us even more as we continue moving out of the pandemic timing and into whatever our new normal will become. And I think that that's important too. It just made me think about, it wasn't too long ago that we're just coming out and getting out and about amongst people. And I went to stand in a line, and they got them all marked. I went to stand on my spot, but as I was approaching my spot, the person in front of me was kind of, taking themselves into this space of premature anxiety, because we'd been sequestered for so long. We weren't ready necessarily to even be out and doing things again. And I actually felt a heart of kindness towards them and gave them this gesture like, it's okay, because I was concerned that, 6 feet wasn't enough for them. It's like, well, but, how can we start thinking more on a level of projecting kindness, even when we feel a little bit of anxiety, because we're there now.
We are there now, and I am noticing it. Listen, I notice it for myself. I think we've all been in a different environment than we ever have experienced before. And now all of a sudden, in the coming out again, even more we have to practice, right? The patience, the giving of space, the honoring of other people's opinions and where they're at with whatever they're at. I think that's really important now, because I don't want us to go into another level of divisiveness, which actually is happening a bit. It's important that we respect all opinions, right? Like we have been forced to really be looking at ourselves, and that's in all areas. And I think guess what? It's happening as we come out again too. That it's very common for people to feel a level of anxiety, a level of social. I found I couldn't even like I had to remember how to hold social conversations outside. You know what I'm saying? Because it's different. We haven't been in the practice. So I think just honestly practicing, I think giving people a wide berth like you did on a physical level, also on an emotional level. Give people a wide berth. Let them be. You know, I had a woman who came onto my PR consulting session, and she was in a tough space, just personally, and for whatever was going on in her life. And I remember just looking across on Zoom and said, you know what? Let's postpone this session, right? And yes, my policies say if you miss a session, you're still responsible, because I do believe as a company, as an individual, as a healthpreneur, you do have to have policies. You do. And sometimes you just let them go. And I think that's part of the learning as being a leader, right? That sometimes, or I like to say, 80% of the time, your policies work, and 20% of the time you might have to readjust them. And especially in these times, giving people some space, I think, is a key. And obviously, and funny enough, in the Profit of Kindness, flexibility is one of my return on kindness principles. And I'll tell you, I have found in this time, we must be flexible with people. We must.
I agree. One of the principles and values I hold is that flexibility and adaptability are the new stability, because when you're in that space and you know it energetically, you not just offer that up when the time comes, but you are ready to offer it up. It's not something that you're giving as a concession. You see that it's something that's required at the time, and like you were gracious enough to do that for that client. I think that, whether we're in the workplace or across the boardroom table or across the Zoom screen, we want, that is a kindness principle. I love that. What's another one of your kindness principles?
How about generosity? Right? So as a healthpreneur, as a business person, where is your give back? Where, like for me, I teach a virtual publicity course. Every single course, I have a nonprofit, like guaranteed, meaning that's my guarantee to myself, right? Because that's what I want to give. And that's a specific, ongoing, measurable way that I can make sure that I'm giving back. I have other things I do, other tithing I do. So, in your business, create a way that you are consistently giving back would be a beautiful form of generosity. And it's not just, for me, it's not just writing a check. For some people, it could be, you might be able to give of your services, of your coaching, this is a great way to give as a scholarship, really. So I love to encourage that. I think that's a great thing to do. And that does come under generosity, and as well as compassion in many cases.
I love it. I love it. And tell us a little bit more about the book. Is it a workbook? Is it just a reading book packed full of wisdom? Tell our audience a little bit about the Profit of Kindness book.
Absolutely. So in the Profit of Kindness, I'm just kind of a practical, tactical kind of person, as well as very spiritually based, and operate from both levels. So here's the thing. I know people are busy. I want to give them good information. So, personally, I'm proud of it. I think we did a good job in defining kindness, creating real things that people can do, as well as backing it up with good studies and real research about what kindness does to grow your profits. I know it seems like opposite words, but funny enough, we consistently found that kind companies were more profitable. Kind people were more profitable, more happy, had a better life generally. So when you put those things together, what I love is the what I would call the backup of the word kindness and what it actually does for your business. And that's what the book's really about.
And I love it because it really does also identify two, again, things that are core values in what I do and also teach, and that is around building trust and having, things begin with relationships. Whether you're an employee or a customer or an entrepreneur, a healthpreneur, relationships is foundational. And I know that a lot of times and in a lot of past, we were taught, I'm here to do a job, that's all I'm going to do. And the box is this big and that's all that happens. And you're a customer and you think that the box is this big and anything you want should be yours. And, as an entrepreneur, you're going to go above and beyond. And maybe in some cases that's too much. So you're sending the wrong message. And, there's a lot of space where we can get crossed signals and, especially where communication comes into play. And, if you narrow things back to relationship, I think that you bring in a more important factor than just me, because relationship involves two people, right? So tell us a bit of wisdom that you share in the book about the value of relationships.
Mm. Well, let me just say, if you want to succeed in life, you got to have relationships. I mean, as I look back on this COVID time, what sustained me is all my relationships, and including maybe some I hadn't talked to in a while. Like you said, we've come across each other, known each other for quite a time. That's a relationship, right? And of course relationships deepen and grow like all of us. But I also, I have a general rule. I wrote a book on networking called Networking Magic, and one of the things I thought about was, when I network, what's a good way to approach it? So I have a general piece that I like to meet 3 and deepen 3. So what does that mean? 3 new people in every meeting I go to, and these are virtual too. Wow, let's connect offline, right? That's a new relationship. Deepen 3. Hey, I haven't talked to you in a while. How are you? What's going on in your life now? And open that conversation. And so it's fascinating. And if you think about that and the multiplication factor of the level of relationship building that creates, your life will be beautifully full and supported. So I think that's amazing. And I also listen closely. What do people need and want? Like if I'm on a meeting and someone says something in particular, like this woman actually in my virtual publicity course recently said that she was kind of shy and a little bit afraid of the camera. And oh my gosh, was she good enough to get out there and all this fun stuff, which is exactly part of the reason what she was doing in the course. And I realized I was talking to somebody else the other day, and he helps people with their mindset. And you bet I'm going to connect them. So be listening for, what do people need and want? Ask the question, how can I help you? What do you need next? What do you need next for your success right now? And then here's the other side of that, which is interesting. You got to ask. You got to ask, which means you say to people, hey, listen, I mean, for me, I might say, if you know any speaking engagements or things coming up, would you be so kind to let me know? It's a direct question, and I think it's fine. And I want to just give people permission to ask direct questions. People appreciate it, because you know what? Then they know what you need and want, and they know how they can help you. How wonderful is that? What I'm fascinated by is that sometimes I'll say to somebody, hey, how can I help you? Or what do you need next? And they don't have an answer for me. I mean, really, I'm going to say to you, if you would like to succeed in business, in life, know the answer to that question. It can change, by the way. It can change. Absolutely. You can be in a particular specific want and desire, and then that gets met, and then you create a new one. Like, keep climbing that mountain because there's always a new peak to look over and to be seen.
Oh, yes, yes. I love that. And um, it really hones in on the value of relationships across the board. And you spoke to the fact that during this last 18 months when things were so different, those of us who lived alone or whether we lived with, just immediate family, the dynamics changed. And if relationship wasn't sought out to be strengthened, and how do you do that? Well, kindness becomes a key component of that, right? And so, now that we're going back to our places of work or networking or just even stuff like the grocery store and other retail spaces where we're encountering more people, having that element of kindness is a wealth building strategy. And what in your opinion would be like one of the biggest wealth building strategies, things that somebody could do?
Well, publicity. Let me just say, publicity is a great wealth building strategy, and it starts with a clear message, knowing who you are and being able to speak that concisely and precisely. And then go to iTunes. Here's a great one. Go to iTunes and type in a keyword, health, wealth, a particular coaching modality you do. And don't get too technical, but be as expansive as you can, meaning as broad as you can, and see who is doing shows on this. Like I'll even type in the word business, because obviously as a publicity expert, I can be on any business show. So that is a great strategy that's simple and easy and very doable.
I love it. Absolutely. And those of us who are looking for practical ways to move back into the bigger environment where there are people, I know many of us, because of our personalities, are like, yes, let me in the door, right? Or out the door. And then there are others who are like the lady that you just spoke about. I'm rather reserved. I like my space, but I want to be here because there's some advantage to it for me. How can people, what's one of the best ways that people can ask for kindness to be shown to them, without giving up too much information? They have a need for more kindness to come to them.
Well, I got taught a long time ago that if you want potato chips and you're going to a party, you better bring them because you don't know if the potato chips are going to be at the party. So I say, if you want kindness, bring it first, like go first, be the kind one first, even if somebody's being a jerk. I was hiking the other day on this trail and, there's a guy came by and he was actually, let me just say, not following the rules, a little outside the fence near a falcon resting nest. And it clearly stated on the sign, do not pass this fence. And I said to him in a very kind way, I think it's better if you don't go in there. That's a wildlife area and it's sensitive habitat. And he don't believe everything you read. And he points the sign. I said, okay, and I just walked on. But interestingly enough, down the path later, he by the way, did come back out. And I think he realized, he was doing something incorrect. I said it in a nice way. I didn't make him wrong. And down at the edge of the path, he was asking me, hey, where are you from? And, is it always so beautiful here? And so it was just interesting to me because, yes, I was specific. You're violating the rules, because it's, to me, nature is an important piece, right? There are rules for that because of such a thing. So all that being said, that you can be kind and have rules. You don't have to be a rollover, Pollyanna all the time. But I also say bring the kindness. And if that's something you want more of, like, listen, I call up a friend, I say, I just need a listening ear. And that's an act of kindness, right? I have a woman who's actually one of my coaches, and her husband had a major serious physical problem. I knew she was having a really hard time, even though she's my coach and I invest with her and all that good stuff. I left her dinner and actually made sure, she got dinner several times during this time of her tough time. So my neighbor has got a husband with dementia. I also bring her dinner over. Like, just take actions. You don't need to ask permission. You don't need to figure it out. It doesn't have to be perfect. I didn't know if this neighbor even liked fish, but I brought her fish over and I just handed it to her with no expectations and I left, and frankly, I would have left it at her door if it weren't fish. The point is that you can do all kinds of acts of kindness that are simple to do, including a smile, even a smile through a mask. It shows, make contact with someone just like you did in the store. Just be kind, give them some space. That can be the act of kindness you do that day.
And I love how, I love that response. Thank you. And I love how you actually take, is it a day, a quarter, a day, a year for the random acts of kindness that you promote?
Well, I actually do a year of kindness. So we literally come together as a beautiful group and we give and receive kindness to each other in a community of incredible people, leads, referrals. And then we have a beautiful thought leader who comes on. Oh, we're going to have Bob Berg coming up, the go-giver, right?
Yeah, I've interviewed him before. He's amazing. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I just have amazing people. But the most important part is the people in the community, and we give and receive to each other. So it's intentional. And I'm very big on what I call a conscious act of kindness, right? Every single day, do a conscious act of kindness. Imagine how our life would be different if we all did that.
I so agree. Wow. Jill, as we are wrapping up our conversation today, I often ask if there is some piece of divine wisdom that you would like to leave with our audience, something that they can take with them and can hopefully help them to make a bigger impact in the world. What would that be?
Well, I think the biggest thing is to know, like inside, like feel it. And if you don't quite feel it, then practice the feeling of it, is that your message matters, right? As a healthpreneur, as a person, I know the people watching and listening are committed to making a difference in others' lives, right? And that's why you're doing what you do. So to do that and to actually help others with getting your message out there in whatever way is comfortable to you, and there are all kinds of levels to do that, imagine the influence and the impact and the gift that you continue to be to others as you are putting that together for yourself. So that message is what's key and it matters. That, now I just want to repeat, do a conscious act of kindness every single day and watch what happens.
Awesome. I love that. Thank you. That has been amazing. I've so enjoyed this conversation with you. And again, we take for granted the fact that kindness is such an important piece of how we can live our lives. And to our audience, thank you for joining us today. And don't forget to do your intentional act of kindness today if you haven't already done something, and then every day going forward. I look at doing this show as one of the highlights of my week, and this day is no different. To our audience, let us know if you'd like a topic of conversation to be brought forth. Comment below this video. Let us know that you loved this conversation, and let us know what else is on your mind. and do us the great favor of sharing. We appreciate you. I love you and want to bring more to you of fabulous presenters like Jill who have important messages for you to hear. And let's practice some additional kindness throughout the rest of this year and going forward as things continue to fall into place with where we're headed in the rest of this decade and going forward. I think we need more kindness in the world. And if you're a health wisdom or a wealth practitioner and you'd like to share your knowledge and expertise with our audience, to be in this conversation, reach out to me. PM me, message me on Facebook, message me on LinkedIn, send me an email at blyn@p3academy.com. Let's connect. And until next time, thank you everyone for joining us. Remember, stay tuned for future episodes because we've got so much more to share. And turn on your notifications so that you will know when we're going live. And once again, help us to spread the message, as Jill said, and share. Thanks again. Until next time, be well, live, love, and make a bigger positive impact in your world. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time.